Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Archangel15 show. This episode, I'm going to sound the alarm. Things are going apeshit right now. Absolutely crazy all around the world. Things are starting to boil over. I'm going to cover a lot of stuff here. As always, I'm going to start with the disclaimer. By watching this presentation, you agree not to take legal action against me in any way, shape, or form. A lot of the stuff I'm talking about is very contentious by nature. If you do not like or agree with what I'm saying, please discontinue watching immediately. Simple as that. I've recently had my channel shut down again. 2 weeks they had me off. If this is even getting posted, I want to actually take it a step further and say that this is very likely to be my finale, or any one of these last episodes could be it. You can see the stuff that I'm posting is very, very, like I said, contentious, and Google is an effing joke, and YouTube, they're the parent company of YouTube. Essentially, they contacted me and they're like, "Oh, there's people in the YouTube community that are really concerned about what you're saying." Before, they would just shut me down. They know that every time they touch me, that horrible natural disasters happen, and it's even gotten further now to where I really believe that the weather radar is being hindered, or it's not accurate, and the weather people are really, really getting pissed off about this. There's probably anomalies that have never happened before. Torrential flooding, the hail is becoming a major thing. The grapefruit-sized hail, the name of Charles Fort. Tornadoes were basically setting up to have a record year for tornadoes by far, absolute craziest. We've almost had to redo the Fujita scale in a sense. That's one aspect of this whole thing. I told you before, the United States has a war on many fronts with God and natural disasters, through basically domestic insurgents and civil war, which is rampant. It's not even debated. It's not being covered, but there's pretty much civil war in every corner of this country and spilling over into other parts of the world for that matter. And then you have foreign people who have an absolute 100,000% justifiable right to hate us. And then, like I said, they want to mess with Ukraine. Russia has only little area of beachfront real estate. It's going to get further. After they take Ukraine, it's going to keep going. I can tell you right now. But I want to do a plug here for my Stormfront. I have a separate spin-off or series. There was this gentleman named Don Black, started Stormfront. Before I post this, I'm going to do a video, the truth about people from India, not Indians like Native Americans, but the truth about people from India. I go in there and cover a lot of really, really good information, and it's the truth. Like I said, it's stuff that nobody else either has the balls to talk about, or nobody else has the platform, or they will even let talk about. I almost believe in a sense that I'm working with Google. A lot of the natural disasters that are occurring now are not in California. It's centering towards Florida. The whole area, I've been talking about this for months, between Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia. They're just it's going to turn into a strait, like Putin's advisor said. It's every single week, at least 2 huge, massive fronts a week. But like I said, check out my Stormfront thing. Like I said, this is probably why they're going to shut me down. I can talk about stuff that nobody else can. I can run it in the ass with no lube, and I make it bleed, baby. Get over it now. And okay, so France. Okay, huge issues in France since my last 2 weeks. And another thing is, I think they're going to want to shut me down because of my psychic alchemy abilities implying into this, and some of the various sources and connections that I have. They're not going to want me bringing you a way more accurate news feed than what you're getting on the bullshit news that they feed you on a daily basis. And it's all coming to an end. And so France has been at civil war now. Like I said, you have this little dick boy Macron that's trying to play a big man in man's clothes, and his country is otherwise useless. They produce some wine, and that's about it. Some people used to like to go there years ago, and I hear Paris actually is pretty dirty. I've never been. Someday I'd like to go to the wine region and the Basque region between Spain and France. But anyhow. So you have this little man, Macron, who he goes all over. 1 week he's going to Russia, he's trying to suck off Putin and act like he's friends with Putin. The next week he goes to China and acts like he's up the ass of the Chinese. And so his country has 11 United States Air Force bases. 11. It didn't happen by chance or overnight. And like I said, this guy, Putin, laid out emphatically. If you bring arms into Ukraine, or arms to your country into Ukraine, this is crossing the line. There's other countries that have been obliterated because of this. It's not being covered. Some of the Balkans regions countries, a whole bunch of shit went down in Scandinavia. But they crossed the line, trying to bring in arms to Ukraine. Once again, Out come the star mats. And like I said, like a huge shit show went down in France. Like I don't know anybody personally there, but I confirmed this through Filippo. Filippo, like I said, he's been at the anti-nuclear proliferation peace tent since 1981, 40-some years. He's an expert on the topic of all things nuclear proliferation. An expert, undeniably, undebated. Like I can message him anytime I want. I'm going to probably do a video, but because my work for the Russians and Chinese, out of respect for him, it really doesn't have to do with peace. There's not going to be peace at this point. So, like, that's kind of why I like I said, I have respect for that. The night that I told him this, like, this was like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, there was this massive storm that came in. Like, he knows who I am. He, like I said, he's talked to a lot of very, very influential people. Like I said, amazingly interesting person. I believe that the list of countries over there, like I said, in that whole region is already going dark. Please, if you have any, like I said, connections in France and you can elaborate, like, this is like there's substance to what I'm saying, please do. A lot of people are hiding in South America. It's becoming, like I said, they had two approaches. Like, okay, let's separate everybody and disperse them, or let's put them like kittens in a box. And it's becoming the kittens in a box scenario, which is to their detriment. And all they're going to do is isolate themselves from the rest of the world. South America, a lot of stuff going on there. The Antilles, a lot of these areas they're hiding. Central America and the Antilles have horrible, horrible issues with seismic, like there's like underlying seismic activity. Like there's going to be definitely earthquakes in some of these areas. But if anybody has been to Germany, to France, to Sweden, to Finland, to the UK, to Italy, to the Balkans, to Turkey, or to the Middle East, please let me know. I also have reason to believe, like this is kind of old news, but like some serious shit went down in the area of the Middle East. Like you don't really hear anything about a lot of those areas in Israel and this and that anymore. I believe that there's various nuclear reactors that are already in meltdown. Like maybe the people there are just evil, nihilistic people, Satanists, and don't care that they'll melt down. Maybe they were making nuclear weapons there, and they had to be targeted. Your guess is as good as mine. We're seeing, like I said, the forces of nature that are happening here in this country are like almost more impressive than the nuclear weapons, in my opinion. Like pretty much I work for the Chinese nuclear proliferation team. I actually give them stuff to use for domages, and it's been working out really amazing. And I know that they do it because what I tell them to use for domage, I'll see a cloud formation that looks like it. So keep it up, girls, my Chinese military girls, my Chinese military men. This is our fight. We're going to win this. We're going to eradicate the cancer. We're going to eradicate the clones, the evil New World agenda, and we will control the one world financial system. Like I said, that's the ultimate weapon, and they know this. Not building some fake temple in Israel and having some clowns and puppets like Trump and Bush come every 4 years and act like they're God. But yeah, I believe nuclear reactors are already melting down. My alchemy is spitting out some not good stuff. Like I actually started using my card game with my workout, and first thing coming up is like FEMA camps. And like not only it's like graphically vivid down to the turnstiles that you're going to have to go through in these camps. And they're going to have, like I said, probably like some kind of clown, like a David Crowley talked about, and some executioner shit. And I believe it's going to be the Chinese that are going to run this. And like I said, the people who built this are going to be the ones, the same people whose great-grandparents were responsible for the Trail of Tears are going to be they're going to be the ones that are going to be holocausted. And it's like, basically, you're going to pay for the mistakes of your forefathers. And like I said, this was all a setup. In my opinion, the theocracy of America is really coming to an end, to be honest with you. I really believe, like I said, sadly, like I think that like we're going to enter a stage of martial law, and like I said, states are going to essentially lose sovereignty. This is going to be part of the unification into the New World Order, like the New World. But like I said, it's going to be there's going to be too much to have all these little working parts, like having state, local, county, federal, and all this and that. It's not going to be feasible where we're going from here. I mentioned in the past and like done videos with my cloud formations about you're going to get more gamma, and like it's moving in. It really doesn't bother me anymore. I remember years ago it used to be a big deal, come in to be all scary and terrifying. It really isn't a big deal to me anymore. I really could care less. I don't feel like I pretty much am like an immortal. I'm like 38 years old, and nothing really bothers me, to be honest with you. But so Ukraine, I got some information over the wire today, like now, like things are changing, and like this is a kind of a red flag of sorts. And the red flag is like, okay, so you used to not have to have if you're an American citizen, you could just go to Ukraine. You get on a plane and go. And plenty of people did for pedophilia, for whatever. That's really the only reason that people wanted to go there in the past from America is for the girls. or some other countries. It's really sad, but maybe some for the food and culture, but not really. And anyhow, so now to go there, you need to have a family member, like, or a reason to go there. You can't just go there like on a whim. And like I think that this is like almost like what they're doing is starting to basically prepare people that you're going to need a Russian visa eventually to enter there. I have a Russian visa. I have it until December 2024. Over a year and a half I still have, and I plan to go back. And I can't wait until I need a Russian visa to go to Ukraine. And I go to that border crossing people and be like, fucking right. And we're going to have a party. And I have like a whole list of people that were talking shit and sending me pictures of dead Russian soldiers. I can't wait to send them a picture of me in downtown Kiev, in Odessa. But like, just wait. Okay, so yes, like I said, you need to have family or a reason to go to Ukraine. It's just like a red flag sign. I mentioned the weather radar is hindered. Something, like I said, they're like lying about it. I mentioned years ago that like they did the same thing to Yellowstone National Park. Like they quarantined or like basically classified the seismograph information. Probably other areas too. The gamma that's moving in, like you're going to start seeing a huge influx of major problems that are going to basically make an unsustainable level of concern. The hemorrhaging, I really believe you're going to see hemorrhaging. You can see the people that come out of the bunkers, their nose starts running immediately. Like that's the first thing that happens. Stroke, the subsequent stroke from lack of oxygen and other things. I'm already dead. It really doesn't matter. I probably don't even have a brain. And like I said, it's not good. The cancer rates are going to quantify. Intestinal cancer is going to be a big one. The thyroid cancer, I mentioned before, that's why nobody has hair growing in the right thyroid. So that's a big one. Under the rug, they're trying to do all these gun control laws. Truth, I have a recent separate series of presentations I did mentioning like the whole thing about this. Just look at my presentations, you'll see like I talked about this all, and like there's already enough guns out there to where they're not gonna like I can tell you it's not gonna happen. And basically, okay, in Pennsylvania, I'll concentrate where I'm at. They like had a proposal of 4 laws that passed, I think, the Senate, and now they go to the House, maybe, and then eventually they have to be signed by the dickbag Governor Shapiro, this Zionist piece of pig shit. I believe is tied to the Vanguard Corporation. And I have a huge disliking for him. He like at the State House, the Capitol, they have like these sex parties with clones. He has a wife. And he has extramarital relations with sex clones. Like, it comes up in my alchemy. So obviously God has an issue with this guy. If he's not faithful to his own wife, he's not going to be faithful to people that like you, his constituents. That's just real rap. Like, I pray for him to be removed and executed, along with Wolf, former governor. Like I said, they were responsible for the death of countless innocent people, facilitating fake heroin and other things as well. They wanted to do a takeover. So anyways, they had like 4 things. One of them was like, if you lose a gun within 3 days, you have to report it lost or stolen. Another one was like extended background checks for long rifles. Not really concerned about this, but this one was red flag laws, it's called. Where like somebody from your family can call the authorities and say, I guess something about you. And it, like basically they can come take your guns. And like this is absolute absurdity. It's just like we need to fight against this. This violates the Second Amendment. Right off the bat. The Fourth Amendment, illegal search and seizure, they can't just come and take something unjustifiably, especially your right to defend your freedom and your religion and everything else. And then the Sixth Amendment, we have a right to a trial. We have a right to a trial among our peers, trial by jury, and we have something known as the Confrontation Clause of the Sixth Amendment, which is if somebody accuses us, we have the right to get up and like basically question them in the court of law in front of a trial, in front of our jury of our peers. Like I said, like is this person that's accusing us? Are they taking drugs? Are they do they have a questionable background themselves? Are they a victim of some type of domestic violence or some type of issue, an underlying issue themselves? There's a lot of facets to this thing to where they can't just have cops going out trying to take people's guns unjustifiably. Cops are going to end up getting shot over this. You're going to put law enforcement in harm's way. I believe law enforcement supports me as a whole in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is an exemplary model of an armed citizenry. Like I said, we don't have, like I said, the bullshit that happens there, like other places with these MK Ultra mind control things. Like I said, I've talked too much in the past about this to go too deep here. But, so like I said, the whole thing is coming to an end. But like I said, If you give up your Second Amendment right, you better believe you're going to give up your First Amendment right, and then somebody's going to be trying to put a microchip or a mark on your left hand. I can guarantee you. But on a side note, with all these natural disasters and rainstorms and weather phenomena, do you have any idea how much resources are being expelled unnecessarily? Like I said, like how many times like somebody starts building something and then the tarps and covers get blown off and everything gets screwed up. Like I said, like they have to be going through massive shortages of supplies, human labor, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's going to start having, huge cracks. And it's like you see now why Russia and China, they put everybody in these piece of shit little flats, these little apartments. And now here in America, everybody has a huge estate property. So now in the middle of nuclear warfare, we have to make sure all the grass is cut, all the flower beds look nice, everything looks good out front, power washed, the whole nine. And like I said, you're taking resources that you could be putting towards something more important just to keep your show looking good. Eventually, they're going to say, fuck this. They're going to say enough. Just let it go to hell. And like I said, let's take it back to the days of the Buffalo Roman, like Ted Turner wanted to do. But yeah, like I said, they're expelling a lot of resources on this. Sudan. There's some major stuff going on in Sudan. China's involved. The United States is involved. Something fishy there. That area is a very, very, very strategic location. I don't really get too involved with that. Another place that they're talking about is Iran. Like I said, the United States always wants to come after Iran. Just look at Iran architecture. I can tell you right now that if you mess with Iran, you're messing with Russia and China. Like, expect to get your ass handed to you. And chill out here. So like I said, the whole thing in France was really, really big. Like I said, this dickbag Macron tries to go around acting like he's something of substance. And he has 11 Air Force bases in his country. I believe there was a lot of clones and people hiding there. Like, they thought this was like one of the safer areas to go. And the truth is that, like, my alchemy actually says that immediately when this happened, the first people they started killing off was the older French woman. Why? Because they want to replace them with the clones. There's a huge amount of refugee Ukrainian girls that, like I said, are way, way more beautiful than the French woman. And there's a whole bunch of clones that they have on these Air Force bases there. And like I said, that's what they started doing. Believe me, they'll do the same thing here as well. Again, I confirm this. And like I said, anybody has any connections, like I said, to any of these dark countries, please let me know. I believe Germany, like I said, send me some video of the streets of Germany while you're at it. And again, I think we're heading for a very bad place. I told you the alchemy keeps coming up with stuff, FEMA camps. I really believe what they're going to do is, like I said, end state sovereignty and some type of martial law. Cops are probably going to be taken to some type of event or dispatched because, like, they're the one, they have guns. And like I said, when they know it's coming, they're going to attempt to defend this, the homeland. And like a lot of the cops were involved in cloning programs and had their ass up, their head up Trump's ass. And like I said, the first people they're going to kill off are the regular woman. And I believe that there's been nukes that have went off here. Like one day I went out with my mom on a ride. And I saw like 16 clouds that look like mushroom clouds. And I believe in Virginia, Western Virginia. I mentioned in the past how I believe that they're using state parks or national parks to facilitate this, and this is why you don't see it. Basically, the upwind approach. Like they talked in the past how like the infrastructure in the major cities would be too valuable to do this in, and I really believe the balance of our world as we know it teeters ever so delicately on the edge of a hideous yet beautiful regress into the formidable boundaries that sanctify civility and inversely hedonism. We're here. Like I said, this is not like I can't get any more like this whole thing. I can't tell you how much hatred I have for Trump, the bullshit that I been put through. They tried to kill me, they poisoned me for years, and like a lot of my own family was involved. And I actually hope that some of them are brought to justice. I hope that like the FBI, the CIA, and other people are watching this, and I hope they take them and hang them. And the pillory. Melania Trump, I believe, is in a mental institution. We're in and out of mental institutions. You don't see anything, hear anything much about her anymore. Melinda Gates as well. A while back, I had this one person from the works of the government, this like subversive person that kind of tells me stuff to talk about, not talk about. She asked me if I knew if Hillary Clinton was killed. She said that Hillary Clinton was taken somewhere and executed. And like, I haven't heard anything from Hillary Clinton or seen anything from her in a while. So I wonder if there's any substance to that, or she's just underground hiding out. Like I said, don't say I didn't warn you about the Gamma moving in. The Rothschilds, Olympic Rothschild family, in complete free fall. Absolutely in free fall. And like if they call it a sit down, nobody would even want to come to their sit down. Whereas before they were looked at as like this, authority of like, the dollar begins and ends with them. And, they're really a lot of the problem. Like you can really trace it back to the Bushes, the British royal family, Rothschilds, and this whole thing with Trump. And like I said, they had an evil plan to basically steal the bloodlines of divinity. And like I said, form it into whatever the hell they wanted to concoct. Basically, slave race, complete two-class system of communism. So, like I told you before, I was contacted by Google, and I don't know what's going to happen. If they shut me down, so be it. It's going to be sad for me to see all my work going. I have backups of pretty much everything, I believe. But it is what it is. I'm not afraid at this point. I honestly think that the Russian mafia would step in. I think that there's like a huge list of countries that I've done work for here, like the Chinese, the Iranians, the Russians, some of the Europeans, innumerable other people. That they're not going to have it. They're going to say, like, this kid spits way more truth than any other bullshit, like I said, that you guys put out there. And like I said, I'm completely justified in what I'm doing. And like I said, I'm sorry. Like, there's people that are obviously upset about this and contacting like, well, I can't. What's next? Are you gonna try to sue Google? You're gonna get your attorneys to call Google and try to muscle me? Go ahead. I encourage you. You're not gonna get shit. Remember, Sergey Brin, the founder of Google, was a Russian. Or at least had Russian blood. His mom worked at NASA. Real shady, stinky shit there, but not gonna get into it. The U.S. is absolutely getting creamed. Like I said, like. All kinds of forces just actively like working against the United States. The German and Italian people in this country, I wish you could look in the mirror and see how absolutely ridiculous you look. The WASPy people too. Yes, it was all a setup. I believe, my alchemy tells me like interesting things that like they actually have it down to like what they're going to do is like they're going to kill off a lot of the kids. You don't see any young kids anymore. They have it down to pretty much high schoolers. The freshmen and underclassmen they're going to eliminate first, I guess, because even a couple years shows a major difference in level of maturity. I'm doing amazing work for various, like I said, in my I basically work for counterintelligence against the United States, for the Russians and for the Chinese. And like I said, I have infiltrated the whole area around where I am, real stinky area. Trump had there's a golf course out near the Embryoville State Police. And Trump had a friend he had a whole little thing going on in the area. And they got ran in the ass. A lot of them are still underground probably. Then you get out towards where I'm at now working, the Great Valley, Malvern area. My father used to work here for ExxonMobil. And, or Mobil Corporation was then. And out near Great Valley, Pennsylvania State University campus is like a base, like a secret base. Limp Dick Vanguard Corporation, the enemy of Vaughn. And like I said, these people, I'm having serious pushback here. And it's really sad what I have to deal with my own family. And I'm really calling for the eradication of a lot of people. I've kind of mentioned it before. I don't really need to name any more names here. But if you go to other countries, even like Ukraine or Scandinavia, you never, ever, ever, ever under any circumstances see anybody even in a handicapped position or in a wheelchair, anything. They have mental hygiene programs and hygiene programs. Anybody that's not going to be of substance in this world, hygiene, gone. Anybody with a speech impediment, gone. Anybody who has a weird look to them, gone. And it's just reality. And I'm not saying it's the right answer, but it's the truth. This is how other countries do it, and they've been doing it. And like I said, there's about there's about 6 stupid bitches they will continually try to push me with. I'm not going to bite on a single one. I want my AF1s, pristine gem mint, un-effing touched, blonde over blue, fat effing ass, the slanted eyes, mini Vonky all the way. And, basically, I won't take anything less. And, what they're going to do is they have some faggot Marines that they crossed in with these beautiful girls that were meant for me in York County. They had a whole vault step that was mine. And they gave them to some evil fucking Germans and other people. And they shouldn't have done it. They made a huge mistake. And like I said, now they have babies, and they're going to try to give the babies to me or other people. Or you know what I'm saying? And then as they get older, and I'm going to have to, I see this coming a million miles away. And my goal is to marry one beautiful Chinese woman, smart, articulate, and that will be my queen. And eventually I'll get there. I'm working on it now. I'm getting real close to getting caught up. And like I said, these people have made my life a living hell. And I just push back, and it pisses them off even more. They absolutely can't stand that I'm doing so much with so little. I have the whole entire beach season ahead of me. The way the weather's going here is, it looks like we're not even going to need our air conditioners until August. To be honest with you. That's what my alchemy's saying. It's going to be cold for a while. I wouldn't say quite nuclear winter, but I really am calling for the executions of the Bushes, the Trumps, and others. Like I said, it's not going to take long as this whole thing starts to spiral down, and you're going to see there's a few people that it's going to point back to, the Gateses and others, the Rothschilds. And the Rothschilds have 800,000 kids. Anybody with red hair that you see, you can almost bet money that's a Rothschild. But yeah, Americans, like I said, pretty much keep going to work, keep fixing up everything, and when the buses and convoys show up, you'll know what to do. I'm going to leave this here. Again, like I said, my goal is not to intentionally piss people off, but it's going to happen in the process, and I think you're going to see a lot of acceleration of just natural disasters, and this is straight out of the tribulation. This is right out of the books of the Bible, right out of prophecy. And it's very, very self-evident and obvious who the good people are and bad people are. I promise you that it did not have to come to this. And like I said, Russia, when they do take Ukraine, they're not going to just stop at Ukraine. They're going to keep going. Take care, folks. Stay safe. Defend your Second Amendment rights until the end.